Hi there, my name is Cupicate, and welcome back to WolfQuest. War is coming with Stigandr. So we just finished up Charm's episode on Wednesday, but now we are to see what happened and what got Stigandr there on that rock to talk to her. Right now, though, he is in the middle of moving his pups. Shiva is with him. The two are quite tired and thinking about sleeping with the pups in a grass patch before they make the long journey. But Stigandr rests, thinking of the red wolf he saw before, the one that he missed near the watchtower, when the strange voice erupted from the bottom of it, telling him to leave. Now, because of this, he feels like that red wolf is more important than ever. And they arrive at the rendezvous site. The journey was long and arduous, but the pups listened to their father intently, and he congratulates them with a bit of play to get their attention, and then reminds them of their confident tail and other things they should be doing now that they are much older. Shiva howls to announce their arrival at this spot. It is beautiful on the hillside here, and it has a great view of the mountains. But not just that, it is rather close to the watchtower because Stigandr is very curious as to where that voice came from, who it belongs to, and why they told him to leave. But now that the pups are happy, tucked in the grass, and Shiva is here to watch them, he decides to go and find them some food, and maybe some food for him and his mate. But he's also curious and checking out where this red wolf may have gone. Stigandr returns with food for his pups. They have been doing well in their training, and he's actually quite impressed with them. But his absence has definitely shown to create a barrier between him and his pups, and he's realizing that if he is to lead them, that may be a problem. However, Quill remains ever diligent to her father, ever close, ever wanting her father's attention. As you can see, she is pouncing, ready for his approval. And he gives it to her, showing her how to be confident, telling her, you could be a leader one day. Now fed and in the grass, the pups are going to sleep again. And Stigandr has been letting his territory falter, letting this rebellion of the Lucky Pack come back and haunt him a little bit. But for some reason right now, he feels the need to be close to his pups. That voice that he heard at the watchtower has shaken him greatly. Somewhere in his soul, he shook so hard that the thought of his pups being raised without him being a father has kind of pulled some strings of his heart. It's so bizarre. He never really thought about it before, never really cared, just thought, oh, they're growing strong under the eyes of Shiva, and they will be good foot soldiers in my army. But now, somewhere after that voice, it's almost like he's beginning to care about what they think about him. The pups have easily devoured that elk calf, and Shiva, I'm sure, was there to help. But the pups are still full. Nylanir just got a little bit from Shiva after she ate the rest of the calf, obviously feeling a bit guilty she didn't let her pup finish. But now Stigandr does what he did before, and he beds with his pups, holding them close, listening to their little breaths. And he feels at peace for a moment. The buzzing and hissing in his ears stops as he falls into dreams. He's frightened of this new side of him, but in some ways he welcomes it. Like a thread of something old, something he lost long ago when he was a pup. Something he felt for his brother that he lost and his sister who passed in front of him. And he goes to find more food, and while he's out, he'll take more territory. But Shiva will stay. And Stigandr returns again, a small prize in his muzzle, but something for the pups to eat. He hasn't been getting as many bigger kills, with this new feeling that has been shrouding him in doubt. Shiva is even concerned. She's pacing back and forth when he arrives, and then she lays down in the grasses to watch him interact with the pups. They are dying for his affections. They want it so badly, and he caves and gives in to them. But Shiva doesn't understand where this new side of Stigandr is coming in. In some ways, she thinks he appears weak. And she's been hearing the rumors going about the army troops, and those that have been deserting even, talking about how he's let a lot of the territory go. And it's very obvious to Shiva that Stigandr has been slacking ever since just a few days ago. He's been so harsh on these pups and on her since the very beginning, and suddenly he decides to show weakness now. She lost 2 pups to his antics, but now he wants to be close to them. Now he cares about them. Her irritation is obvious and evident in the way she acts, the way that she's been distancing herself from him. But he can't blame her, because even he is confused by what's going on. It's like after what happened with the voice, something awakened in him that he thought he had buried. She does ask him now, what's going on? And he simply says, I don't know. I don't know what's gotten into me. I don't know. She doesn't like that answer. She walks away before he can really finish, just pacing back and forth, coming to him with angry looks and growls, and then walking away. She's frustrated and pacing, antsy. He wonders if it would be better if he slept away from the den tonight. And so he does just that. Stigandr decides he's going to sleep at the base of that rock. It's not too close to the watchtower where he would feel threatened by whatever spoke to him, but it's close enough to keep an eye on things, and that's what he truly wants to do. He has a bit of a snack for himself, an elk calf that he found not far from the rendezvous site. And while he should probably give it to his children, he's hungry and he just wants to sleep. He finds a rock perfectly in the shade of this tree. The coolness of the shade feels nice on his back as it ruffles through his fur. The hissing is gone. The hissing he had grown used to, relied on even. He doesn't know where it's been. Something happened to him that day at the watchtower. Now it is night and the fogs have rolled in. He's feeling a bit hopeless on this rock. His mate is angry with him. He's tired with all that he's been doing. The exhaustion from taking hex after hex, fighting pack member after pack member of the lucky pack. Suddenly it just feels like it's caught up to him and weighs heavy on his shoulders. He looks back to the rendezvous site, missing his mate and even his pups, which before he never really cared about. But now he does, in a different way than he did. His heart is torn, his morals completely skewed from what they used to be, and he decides to sleep again. We just had a pup die from wandering away, which happened while Shiva was at... That's odd. Don't mind the territory, I know it looks bad. Shiva howls to Stigandr, warning him that a pup is lost. Other wolves in his army howl their grief. Cleo has not been found. And Shiva's worried. Stigandr comes racing back, wondering how on earth this could happen under her watch. Stigandr arrives demanding to know what happened. And Shiva admits that she doesn't know, that she was hungry and she left for a moment, and he didn't come back either, and he is just as guilty. This angers him. The pups are hungry. There's no food. And at one moment, he snarls at her, "Am I the one to do everything then?" And she storms off, not responding. He knows that he is just as responsible. But he did leave the pups under her watch, trusting her fully, as he has so many times before. This feels like a betrayal. That she failed to keep one of their pups alive. But with the need to hunt and her very hungry, him also hungry, he agrees to hunt with her. An easy kill for Stigandr, waiting to find the weakest that always reveal themselves when they fall behind the herd. Shiva was also good to catch this one, the two working in sync beautifully. They talk while they eat. Shiva takes on a softer tone, now easing her belly from the strain of being so hungry. She says, "I'm worried about you. You've always been strong. You've always worked hard for this goal of yours." She wants to see him continue that, and she says as much. He sits next to her and he says, "I know. I feel it. I feel something has changed in me, and I need to shove it back down where it used to be." She admits by saying, "I don't mind this side of you, but I don't want you to give up all of these goals, the things that we have sacrificed pups for. You've worked too hard to stop now." She says, "I am at your back, Stigandr. I always will be. But you can't leave me behind. You can't forget about me, and you can't forget about your goals. For your pup's sake, for my sake. I've given too much to you for you to give it up now." And that's enough for her to say. She takes a few more bites of the kill, and Stigandr sends her home, realizing she is right after all. It's one of the reasons that he chose her as a mate, because she's just as strong, truly an equal. She's happy with him now, that's for sure, as she rolls around on her back. But she listens to his commands and walks back to the rendezvous site. Stigandr has something else in mind. Stigandr is back at the watchtower again. Shiva is calling to him, saying the pups are hungry, and so he knows he must bring food back. And food he is trying to get right now as a mule deer mother guards where her baby is hidden. But as he's looking, he sees a red wolf walking along the path near the watchtower. He's found her sitting on the ledge of this rock face. He's a bit nervous about approaching her. She could react horribly by his presence, but he does. The valley is beautiful up here, and he can't blame her for taking this spot to look over the valley. He sits next to her, and they start a conversation. A conversation that goes well, and Stigandr doesn't quite expect that. However, she does deny his request to join the army. And before, he would fight off a wolf, kill them even, for denying to join. But he decides to give her a chance, saying, "Think on it, and meet me back here if you change your mind." The she-wolf, Charm, agrees to that, and he leaves her in peace, knowing that he has other duties to uphold, feeding his pups, who will indeed be amazing soldiers in his army. His goals and tasks renewed after talking to the red wolf. Stigandr returns to his pups and his mate renewed after the conversation with the red wolf. It looks like the pups have been fed by Shiva, but the other two come over and fill their bellies with a little bit of fawn. I never really noticed how close Quill and Azula look. I wonder if they'll end up being twins, but I think Azula might be a little lighter, whereas Quill's a little more red. Shiva is much happier with Stigandr. She can feel the change in him leaving and the old him coming back as he rests with his pups. And that is all the time I have for this episode, y'all. I hope you liked it. If you did, tickle and poke that like button, subscribe to join our family if you haven't already, and jingle the bell so you're notified of when I post more WolfQuest videos. I love you guys. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week for more of Stigandr. Bye!